Quickie Review, RPG Maker MZ. Ready, set, go! Now you, dear audience member, are probably wondering why I included the latest version of the long-running RPG Maker series of game development suites in my Quickie Review series, a series designed specifically for short, concise reviews, usually of games. You are largely known as an RPG Maker content creator. Shouldn't you do a hardcore deep dive into this new program? Well, dear viewer, to be completely honest with you, MZ is here because I don't really have very much to say about it. Have you ever used RPG Maker MV, the previous version of the software? Then you have basically used MZ, especially if you've ever used MV with plugins. If you're a complete newbie, this isn't an issue and it's an awesome buy. But for the rest of us, it's not so super. Okay, so let's go over some of the new features, starting with the changes to the character generator, which is everyone's favorite tool within RPG Maker it seems. Functionally, it's basically exactly the same as the one in MV. It even kind of looks the same. Sure, it has some new resources, which is nice, but that's about it. There is the ability to shift parts around just a little bit, which is handy if you didn't like how things like glasses or what have you were sitting by default. But you know what else you could use to do this exact same thing? GIMP, or Photoshop, or heck, even Paint if you set your mind to it. And in those programs that many of us already have, you could do way more than you could ever do in the character generator. Now let's shift our focus over to mapping. Alright, there is one feature here that is super cool to see. Layers. For us old RPG Maker users, people who cut their teeth on versions like XP back in the day, being able to manually control what is in front of what is pretty cool. I didn't basically use it at all while I was working on the demo game I made to learn the new tools, instead utilizing the auto layers function, but it is there, and honestly, anything that makes making maps exactly the way that you want them a lot easier is a plus for me. The database window is basically the same, though honestly this hasn't even changed much since the much older versions of RPG Maker. It's kind of standard at this point. You've got access to your characters, classes, enemies, troops, etc. All of the basic stuff that you need to be able to mess with to make your dream JRPG is right there at your fingertips. What they did add in here, though, is the option to utilize a whole new battle system. The classic active time battle system, as seen in a lot of older Final Fantasy games, is now available in RPG Maker by default, which is admittedly pretty cool. But there's just one problem. If you have MV, you could easily install a plugin that gives you this exact same functionality, or even access to other battle systems, like my personal favorite, conditional turn-based. What? I really like Final Fantasy X, don't even at me. And I mean, I feel like that is the major issue here with MZ. Pretty much everything it adds in was already available in other ways, be it via plugins or outside programs that a lot of us RPG Maker developers probably already have. Now, I know that I've been pretty much just ripping into MZ this entire video, but it is still a completely capable piece of software, and the price tag for what you get is super fair. If you've ever wanted to make your own JRPG, this is a fantastic tool to do so. It is just as newbie friendly as all of the previous entries, and powerful enough to produce some really fantastic results. I, for one, am definitely going to be using this version of the program for any of my future RPG Maker projects, be it games or speed developments or tutorials or whatever. But that's because I already own it. I cannot stress this enough. If you own MV, unless you're allergic to plugins or outside programs or whatever, I'd pass on MZ. Maybe grab it during a sale or something if you really want it, or just need to complete the series for whatever reason. Now, if you don't have a previous version of RPG Maker, this is a great starting point for beginners. By all means, if you're new to the hobby, definitely go out and grab yourself a copy of RPG Maker MZ. And by go out, I mean jump on Steam and buy it there, because there aren't physical copies at stores, and you probably shouldn't be going to stores right now anyways. For the rest of us, we'll just have to wait for the next big revision of the software to hit the internet. Might be a while, guys, so settle in. I give RPG Maker MZ a 3 out of 5. Have you used RPG Maker MZ? What do you think about it? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you haven't used it and you want to see what it's like, I did an entire speed development of a game that I made in the software. You can go check that out, and you can even download the game if you want to play it. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.